Nah, but if I face the things that like are internalized, definitely like I would definitely come out on top of a better person, just because a lot of things that I internalize, it's stuff that should be confronted. And like I said, 90% of it comes from things that make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they make me uncomfortable because it's like, yo, like I don't like that thing. Like just stop doing that thing.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your name?
Idris, K-K-R-A-Kun, first and last name.
Okay.
So I use my middle name as my first name, actually. So.
Okay. And how old are you?
27.
Okay. So, Idris, who are you on a soul level?
Oh, wow, on a soul level? That's a deep question. Wow. Huh. I mean, for the most part, I just feel like my purpose is to help. And the thing is, like, if I can't do that, then what am I here for the most part, you know?
I feel that.
The thing is, like, human nature is, like, inherently selfish, and it is what it is. Like, we're always looking out for number one, but at the same time, you know, like, we just have to look out for our fellow people, you know? Like, it is what it is. So, like, if we were to talk about who I am as a soul person on the most basic level, that's what it is. Like, I'm just here to help people, so.
Okay. So is there anything that's happened in the past or anything that's going on right now that has really like contributed to who you are?
A lot, honestly. Like getting to where I'm at now, it's been like one hell of a journey. Like I've had to do a lot of introspection and just like looking at where I want to go versus where I am, and working on a lot of the things that I thought I knew, but I didn't know. And for the most part, like self-awareness is the key, because the thing is, you can't improve on things that you don't know about.
That's true.
That's why introspection is so important. Like just looking at who you are as a person. And the thing is, like, we don't really know where we are as far as like growth stands, just because like growth is measured for the most part. Like I guess sometimes people like what other people see. So it's like you don't always know where you are until other people make a point about where you are, and then you're like, oh crap, like I gotta change, or whatever the case may be. So yeah.
So I'm gonna give you 3 categories, and I want you to tell me what means the most to you and what means the least to you, and you can mix and match these like subcategories any way that you want to. So the first category is love, sex, relationships. The next is society, culture, politics. And the third is spirituality and or religion, because those don't go hand in hand for everyone. So for you, what takes the front seat?
What takes the front seat? For me, it's definitely love.
Okay, why? And what is love to you?
What is love to me? That is such a deep question. Oh my God. So what is love to me? I mean, like, as humans, like, that's like the most basic of all the human emotions, you know, because we, for the most part, I like to think that most people are brought into the world out of love. That just might be me, I don't know. And the thing is, like, your mother loves you, you know, so it's like love is the first emotion that you are exposed to. It's the most raw of all the emotions. And the only thing that kind of sucks about that is that over time, things may happen to tarnish like what your view of love is or what it should be, but you should always try your hardest to like revert back to like I said, to what it's supposed to be, like the most raw and purest emotion that there is. And as far as like what it means to me, it's like just having the ability to not have to filter yourself, because the thing is, like, in the world that we live in, like, we do our jobs and things like that, so we all have like roles and we wear like different hats and stuff, but it's like when we're doing these things, we're like playing a character, for lack of a better term. Like we're playing a version of ourselves and not like our true self. So like the thing is, as far as love goes, that gives you the ability to be unauthentically yourself, basically. Like you have no filters, no like lens that you're supposed to be portrayed through. Like it literally is just you. So that's kind of like the basis of it. It's important to me just because, like, not to say that I have everything in my life together for the most part, but like love is like the one thing that is so hard to like grasp. Like it's weird. Like I don't
What do you mean?
Just like obviously there's like different levels of love. Like there's romantic love, you know, there's like friendship, and then like, you know, parental and things like that. So
yeah, like platonic.
Yeah, and just like balancing all of them, the lines get blurred sometimes because it's like obviously the love you have for your friends is different than the love you have for your families. And then like romantic love is just like on a whole nother level. Like and honestly, like not even like I struggle with love in general, but like romantic is like the hardest of them all, honestly, because like
why do you think that's the case?
Why do I think that's the case? Just because like we all have skewed views of it. Like, you know, what one person may view as love is not what the next person views as love. So it's like it's like a puzzle essentially. So like just finding like somebody who like matches with what your idea of it is, that's kind of like the whole thing basically. And just like we are young people, millennials as they call us, and like I call us the shopping cart era, which is hilarious. A lot of people are like, what? Why are you guys the shopping cart era? And I say that for a reason, because it's like, of course, instant gratification. And just like, if we're talking about love, like the thing is, we search for love in like the weirdest places, you know? So like, obviously like social media is a huge thing now, and that's like what controls most of our lives. Yeah. And then like, of course, the apps, the godforsaken apps. This is why I say the shopping cart generation, because it's like we have Tinder, we have OKC, like all these apps, and it's like, okay, if this person doesn't like me, I'm just gonna get on this app and just shopping cart, boo 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 boo, add X and Y.
Sometimes you see the same.
Yeah, and it's people. Like checkout. So it's like that's why we're like this shopping cart area. Like it's weird. So we just don't have the same patience, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's something that we all can work on, because like it's not like we're running out of. Well, I was gonna say it's not like we're running out of time, but they got that whole Earth is gonna blow up in 8 years type thing. So yeah, anyway, yeah, there's a lot. We have to work hard. That's all I can really say on that. So,
yeah. I mean, I definitely understand that. Like, when I hear people meet in person, I think it's like the sweetest thing ever. Like, because one person walked up to the other person, like not at a bar, not at a club, like in a thrift store.
Yeah, organic
or
is
like
nothing
at the grocery
organic.
store. Yeah, like, and I don't even know how people would. I don't know. It's organic. So interesting how things.
Like organic is natural. Like that's the best way to explain it. It's the most natural way.
Right, and it's how it should be. But like now people can't even.
They're scared.
Look at each other. Right. Exactly. Okay. So love is first. Have you been in love? Okay. Are you in love right now?
No.
Oh no. Okay, so this is the past thing. Okay, so you know, so you've gone there before. Yeah. It's just hard for you to get there again. Do you think it's because you compare your past relationship to like your new relationships? Not
at all. I don't compare, and the reason why I don't compare is just because I understand that everything is different. Like no two things are going to be exactly the same. That's just, there's no way around that. The reason why, like for me personally, why it's so hard to get to that point again is just because like this has been what's been told to me. Like apparently I'm a difficult person, and it's not. I honestly don't think that I'm difficult. It's more so that I'm very meticulous. Like,
okay.
Because
in what way?
Basically, not to say like everything has to be my way. Like I'm very like go with the flow, but at the same time, it's like I have very strict boundaries. Like I know what things work for me and what things don't, and I'm very firm about the things that don't work for me. And it's just like that doesn't rub everybody the right way. So they're just like, okay, yeah, like. It's a no for me, dog. So just like that's why it's difficult for me personally, because I set very firm boundaries and I don't budge on those. So
okay, do you feel like if somebody put the same boundaries on you that you're putting on the other person, that it would be fair?
I would like to think so, but
you don't know.
But yeah, I honestly don't know, because it's like,
okay,
I don't personally think that I ask for a lot. That's just me. So, but yeah, let's do politics, man.
Okay, let's talk about politics.
Like,
how do you feel today about politics? Where are you at?
I honestly think it's a joke. Like, that's just me personally. Everybody's like, oh, it's democracy and you're part of the system and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, never in all of my adult life have I ever felt like my voice was heard. And like, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you know, vote and all this other nonsense. I'm just like, also now that I'm a taxpayer and whatnot, I'm just like, yo, y'all are taking all this money out of my check and I have no idea where it's going. I have no idea what it's doing. I'm not seeing like anything going on.
You are reaping the direct benefits. Yeah.
So it's like, it's weird, like, and as far as like just like the presidency and stuff goes, like, we all went to school, we all know how, you know, the branches of government works and things like that. So it's just like, the fact that we let people who shouldn't even be in office is just like a clusterfuck to me. Like, it's just like, what? So yeah, I feel like we should definitely have a lot more power than what we have for the most part. You know, if we're like the people and we're supposed to have a voice and things like that. And even like the methods that we have for impacting change, they design them in a way where it takes forever. So it's like, oh yeah, write to your congressman, and then your congressman's gonna talk to this person and talk to that person. It's just like, the whole process is stupid. So
okay.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people that's saying like you're not gonna vote because you feel like it doesn't matter at the end of the day? Or are you still gonna vote just because?
I vote because it's my civic duty.
Yeah.
My civil duty. But it's like, do I really feel like I made a difference? Hell no. Because it's like, the thing is, the Electoral College has to say at the end of the day, so it's like, you know, we don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. Everybody's like, oh yeah, it's a number of votes and blah, 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 but like, it's really not. Like, they already know who they want to win and things like that, so they just like make stuff happen. So it's like, they just like to give you that idea that you feel like you're part of the process. So it's like, it's weird. So I always have this like saying, and people think I'm crazy for it, but like, capitalism is a failing system, because the thing is, we get to a point where we monetize things that don't even make sense. Like, we monetize things that shouldn't be monetized. Like, people's health should not be monetized. It doesn't make sense. Like, the friggin' company that has like that monopoly on EpiPens, that doesn't make sense. Like, why is there one company that controls all the allergy medicine like in the world? Like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, monetizing people's health doesn't make sense. Monetizing education doesn't make sense, because it's like, who profits from that at the end of the day? Like, the thing is, the higher your population is educated, the more they can contribute back into the population. They can't do that if there's hurdles in place for them to do that. So it's like, things like that. Yeah, it's capitalism is a failing system. It doesn't help anybody.
So what comes next for you after politics?
Culture is a big one. As far as like culture, like, we're all different, but we're all similar in, you know, certain aspects. What's interesting about culture is just like, people tend to use that as like a barrier. Like, they try to use that to like wall themselves off. Like, oh hey, this is me, this is our thing, and you can't like share in it or whatever. And it's just like, I find that really weird. I'm Nigerian, so like, even with our culture, it's really interesting, because like, we kind of like try to keep to ourselves as much as possible, which I get, because the general idea is that like, the more you like mix your culture, like, it gets lost in translation. But I don't think that's the case. I think you should always try your best to share as much as possible, because the thing is, like, people don't know what they don't know.
Right.
They're ignorant to what they don't know. And of course, everybody's like, oh, Google's free, but like, people are lazy. They're not gonna take the time out to Google, oh, what does this culture do, and what does that culture do?
What does this mean?
Yeah, like, we are the direct channels of culture. Like, we have the ability to present it and, you know, share it and things like that. So it definitely shouldn't be used as a barrier, if anything. Like, I hate the fact that we use it as a barrier. We should use it as a tool to kind of like bring everybody together. So, because like for me, like even though I'm Nigerian, like I love Japanese culture. Like I'm a huge like anime nerd and just like anything Japan, like I'm on, like yeah. So it's like we have a lot to learn from each other, you know. So
okay. What is one thing about Nigerian culture that you feel like everyone should know? It's probably usually like misunderstood or misconstrued.
I don't really think there's anything that's misconstrued, just because like everything is pretty straightforward for the most part. If anything, like the only thing I guess I wish people understood more is the fact that like there is multiple like tribes. So like not a lot of people understand that. They're just like, oh, it's Nigeria, so like we're all the same. But we're even within the country itself, like there's so many different tribes. So it's like yeah, we're one country, but we're a lot of different people within that same country. So
okay,
that's a lot of the common things that I would like to cover. And then also just like the overarching thing, like this is something I have to deal with like on a daily basis as far as like microaggressions go. I have like this little medallion that I wear, which is like the entire continent. So like when people see that, they're just like, oh, that's Africa. I'm like, yeah, yes it is. And then when I tell people I'm from Africa, they're like, oh, but you don't have an accent. I'm like, do I have to have an accent? Like, I was born here, you know, like why does it matter where I was born? Or like just people assuming stuff like that, that's annoying. So
So what's next after culture?
Sex, that's interesting. It's back to the shopping cart reference that I made earlier, shopping cart era. So like comparing generations and things like that, like I would say we're closest to like the free love generation, just because like the hippies, they were getting down. And then like when our folks came around, I guess things changed. And then like now, just because like the internet is such a huge thing where it's like there's so much access to things of that, like there's so much access to sex, so it's like you can get it however, whenever you want. I'm like, that's beyond me. Like never in all my adult years did I ever think like you could just like boot up a website. It's like, oh boom, like hey, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of weird when it comes to sex, just because like for me, emotional attachment is important.
Yeah.
And I've always been that way. And like because of the shift in our generation now where it's like we have sex with strangers, it's like
yeah.
I don't know. It's like okay.
I don't know how people do it.
It's like okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I've always been that way. Like emotional attachment is important to me because it's like I need to feel like I'm part of this process. Like I'm not just some thing that you just use and then like person, you know. So, and it can be like the smallest emotional attachment. Like it can be like dumb stuff, like you know, just telling me about like your family or whatever, like you know, your friends. Like it doesn't have to be anything like intense, you know. It's like I can't just like.
So not real emotional attachment. I just have to like know your name and like your family. Not your family personally, just about your family. A couple favorite colors, where you like to eat.
Yeah, something. I need something.
And then it's fine.
Yeah, because like outside of that, then it's just like, yo, like you're nothing to me. Like that's weird.
Huh.
You know? So.
Okay.
I don't know how people do that.
So okay, so it doesn't have to be that serious, but you have to like know the person,
yeah,
kind of.
It has to be some emotional bonds there, some attachment. So we can talk about spirituality and or religion. That's a really interesting one because it's like as far as adulthood, that's something that I've definitely been exploring a lot more, just because like people always associate the two. They think they're exactly the same, but they are completely different. Like from my understanding, like religion is more so people could think this is like I view it in like the most extreme way, just because like of the type of things that people do in the name of religion. So like for the most part, it is a tool of like population control. Like essentially like you follow a faith and they're like, yeah, you can do X, X, and Y, but you can't do X, X, and Y. And it's like, but why not? Like, I should be able to do like what I want. As long as I'm not hurting anybody, like I should be able to do what I want, you know? So it's weird. For me, like, I was definitely like brought up in a Christian household, and that's just like all I've ever known my entire life. But as an adult, where it's like I can make my own decisions and I can understand things a lot better, it's like some of the stuff that's going on here, it's kind of iffy. So that's what that's all about. I feel like as far as like spirituality and stuff, that definitely falls on believing that there's a greater cause than you. Like, you're not just here just to be here. Like, you have a reason for being here, and you have to figure out what that reason is. And that can be achieved via like soul searching, just whatever it is that you have to do to find out what your purpose is, do that, you know? Yeah. So they're definitely like, that and religion are literally two separate things. A lot of people like to incorporate the two, but they're not, because although some people find solace in religion, not everybody can do that.
Right.
So, and then just like, if we're talking about religion on like the most basic level too, where it's like, it is your personal relationship with your deity or your God, goddess, whatever. So like, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks or what like other people within that religion think. Like, it should never be like a group thing. Like, it's personal. Like, that's as simple as it can be, but like that just gets thrown out of proportion for some reason. I have no idea why. But yeah, for me, like, it's funny because like everybody in my family is like super religious, and then there's me, and I'm just like, I'm just here. Hi, I'm not a bad person. I'm here. And like I said, I grew up in church. Like, you know, I've been in church my entire life, but like literally like the last 3 years of my life, I've kind of just been doing my own thing. And it's weird just because like I feel like my family views me a certain way, because they're just like, oh, like, why do you want to be, why are you hell bent on being different from everybody else? Like, why can't you just be like everybody else? And that's why I don't like that's like this sheep mentality. It's like, why should I blindly follow something? Like, if I can't understand the fullness of what it is, or if I can't like, you know, make my own decision, like that shouldn't be the case. Like, you shouldn't be able to make that decision for me, you know? And that's kind of like what's weird, because like I said, as kids, you know, we didn't really have a choice. Your parents tell you everything you do, you know, it's like whatever. But when you become an adult, like, you should definitely like seek your own answers, you know? So there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff in the world. Like for me, I've studied like most of the major like religions. I've studied most of them, so like I understand a lot of the concepts. And the interesting thing about it is like a lot of them overlap. Like there's a lot of overlap, and like I don't know why people don't like connect the dots, and they're like, oh, this religion is just like this religion, and this religion is just like this religion. So it's like, if they're all similar, why is there the need for distinction? So that's interesting. So yeah, you know. And just for me personally, like at this point in my life, I just, as long as you're a good person, you put good into the world, hey, who's gonna stop you? For me personally, like I believe heavily in karma. Even though karma is not a religion or whatever the case may be, but like it makes sense.
It's a part of the Hindu religion.
This is true. Karma, dharma, and samsara. I remember this. But like that's simple. Like it makes sense. Do evil, get evil. Do good, receive good. Like that's not rocket science, you know?
Yeah.
And just like how like the golden rule presents itself across all the major religions, you know? It's there for a reason, you know?
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and that's in the Bible.
Yeah, it's right.
So it's all...
It's common sense, you know?
Yeah.
Be a good person, and that's it. It's simple. It's not that hard.
So that means that society and relationships are last for you. Cool. Which is funny. So why are those two last?
For me, the reason why relationships are kind of like falling off of the totem pole, just because like for like a very long time, that was something that was important to me. But just like I've had to deal with so much nonsense over the years, so now it's just like if it happens, it happens, but it's not like a huge priority for me anymore. Like just because like so much has happened for me personally.
Do you want to tell a story?
Do I want to tell a story?
you look like stressed.
I am stressed just because like, as far as like relationships go, like for me, I'm a selfless person. Like, if I'm in a relationship with you, like I will literally go above and beyond. Like I will break my back for you. And it's like, for me, I just never feel like I get that back. And I don't know why that is. As far as relationships go, like I always feel like I'm the person that's giving more. And some would argue, some would say that's not the case. Like, it is what it is. I can personally know the situations where I could have done better.
Yeah.
But like I said, self-awareness is important. So like,
you're growing
and learning, that's all that's important.
Yeah.
But I hate the fact where I should feel like I'm the person that's doing more. Like, that should never be the case, because relationships are supposed to be partnership. It's supposed to be equal, you know, things like that. So it's like, when you feel like you're the only person that's like putting in the work, it's draining. Like, that'll wear down on you. And just like, yeah. So although I still date and like I still like do stuff, but it's like, and then also like apparently I'm reaching this age that's like closer to 30 where like relationships become that much more important, and marriage and stuff, and it's like,
depends on what's important to you.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Is family and like
family
kids
is
and
family
stuff,
is huge. Like, for me, I'm huge on family because like I'm so close knit with my family. So like family is definitely big for me personally. It always has been, and it's definitely something that I want. But it's like, if I can't, just because like all the nonsense that's going on right now as far as relationships, if I can't make it happen, like it's not the end of the world. Like, obviously I want it, but I'm not gonna kill myself over it, you know. Like, so live and let die, so they say. So yeah, I'm almost 30, so that's interesting. And apparently 30 is the magical number where it's like, hey, look, this is the part of your life where you do all the adult things. Like, you may have been doing adult things before, but now you're doing the real adult things. Like, you got to get a mortgage and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, I have anxiety about that every day. And everybody's like, dude, you have time. I'm like, 3 years is going to fly by like that. So there's a lot of pressure there. Yeah, there's a lot. But not so much on me. More so on my brother, because he's the middle kid. He's 31. So he's like, for me, there's still time, I guess. Whatever. As far as society, society's interesting. It definitely is. It's interesting just because, like, we all have different views on it. And, like, if anything, we don't try hard enough to share our views. Like, especially, like, I'll use Twitter as a great example just because, like, nowadays, as far as, like, Twitter, it's, like, the most sensitive place on earth, because you can say your opinion, right? Like, what you feel in your heart, and somebody will come from way out of left field and be like, so does that mean that chickens are bad? And it's just like, what? So it's so weird. And I don't like it because it's like, everybody has access to, well, I guess more so what you give them access to, but it is what it is. Everybody has access to all of your thoughts and all of your ideas, and if your ideas don't line up with the next person's ideas, it's like chaos. It's like you're a bad person.
Yeah.
And we definitely need to try harder, because it's like, people are going to exist. Like, it is what it is. We're not going anywhere, at least until the sun explodes, whenever that's going to happen. And we should try our best to get along while we're here. Like, it's just as simple as that. But we just have so many things in place to divide us. Like, we have so many things in place to just, like, separate us. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, for me, I view things in the most simplest way possible. Like, filter out all the noise, filter out all the necessary stuff. Is just like, look at, like, the basics. It's like, hey, people obviously want to live as long as we can, and we have to do whatever we can to make that happen, I guess. But if we're like stepping on the next person's neck to do that, it's like, we'll like chill. So society, interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get you to color or draw however you want to look at it. So I want you to pick colors that mean something to you. Colors that kind of like make you feel a certain kind of way. It can be bad, good, whatever. And then I want you to explain like why you picked the specific colors that you picked.
Okay.
And then you can tell everyone like why.
Ooh, there's so many of them. Whoop. Huge fan of that one. Oh, there it is. Whoop. And where is it? I need the darkest version of it. There we go. Boom. Only 3 colors, or there's more?
You can pick as many as you want.
Oh, bet. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Read. I like all the versions of blue. Stay up. Okay. This other version of teal. Come on. There's one other. I already have. Oh, that's a light blue. All right, I believe that's all the colors I need.
Okay. So, why did you pick those colors?
Why did I pick these colors? Let's see.
A lot of them are in your outfit.
I didn't even notice that. Couple reasons why. So purple, my favorite color of all time. Purple is the color of royalty. I don't know if you know that or not.
Like Diana
Yeah. But purple is just a really great color because like outside of it being a color of royalty, it goes with everything. Like I haven't found an outfit or just an ensemble that purple doesn't go with. It's weird. Black. Fun fact about black. Black is essentially the absence of color, so they say. But if we're looking at like the color wheel, the spectrum and things like that, black and then I guess clear, which is where all the other colors originate. They're one and the same. So yeah, that's black. And also black goes with everything too. So there's that. I already did black and purple, and then all the various versions of blue. Fun fact, I love water. Everybody should love water. You should drink it. It makes up 80% of your body, so there's that. As far as the different versions of blue, just for me personally, I've always been a huge fan of teal in all of its versions. Technically, this is teal. People argue this is not teal. This is definitely teal. Teal is one of my favorite blues just because like it's a hybrid color because it's green and blue. So being two things at once is awesome. It gives you the ability to blend in like no matter like where you are in the world. So there's that. And then the fact that water can exist in so many different like hues is interesting. And then also we need to save the oceans. So there's that. We don't have enough ocean left because we're polluting it all with all the plastics. So there's that. Red and orange. These are the colors of passion. Essentially, red and orange drive, once again, raw emotion. Essentially, because they're very bright, they catch the eye, they pretty much demand your attention, they make you pay attention. So there's that, red and orange. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, the most important of all the colors, brown. You know, this is important. Like this is all we got in life. You know, like the thing is, we're all familiar with the phrase. You know, like my what's the phrase? It's a new phrase, fairly new. It has to do with I want to say it's my skin color is not a costume, something like that. Anyway, everybody wants to be this, but not everybody can be this. So there's that. I'm gonna leave that on that. You guys interpret that however you like. So yeah, that's the color scheme.
Okay. Draw whatever you want. I'm gonna ask you questions while you draw. What makes you the most upset?
What makes me the most upset? Wow. So like I said earlier, I'm the type of person where like I go above and beyond, like just because that's just who I am as a person. Like I don't feel like if I'm doing something, I'm gonna give it my all just because why not, you know? So what upsets me the most is like when I do that, when I go above and beyond for people or just like situations and like people don't do the same. And some people would argue that that's selfish. I disagree just because as a selfless person, I should be able to expect the same out of people just because like it is what it is. Like if I'm going above and beyond, like the least you could do is acknowledge that or like try your best. So honestly, that's like the only thing that like I don't let much get to me, but that's definitely one of the things that gets to me because it's like I'm trying really hard, and I feel like people should also try hard. So
Okay.
yeah, there's that.
What really excites you? What makes you really happy?
What makes me really happy? Ooh, that's a good one. What makes me really happy? For me, like seeing the benefits of like hard work, that's something that makes me happy because it's like, I wasn't really fond of this when I was a kid, but as an adult, it's definitely something that's like super important to me. But I'm really fond of like setting goals and then like working to achieve that goal. So like for me, when I finally achieve a goal, like that's like the best feeling ever because it's like, you set your mind out to it, you put your heart into it, and then you did it, you know? And I operate by a very simple saying too, like my word is my bond. So like my whole thing is like, if I say I'm gonna do something, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna do it. Like it's very rare that I don't do I don't do what I say, if that makes sense. So yeah, like, especially like as far as goals go, like if I say, hey, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna do the thing. Like it's very rare I'm not gonna do the thing unless like something like catastrophic happens. Like it's very rare. So that definitely makes me really happy. Just like seeing the benefits and like the after effect of the hard work that you put in. Like that's a top tier feeling right there. So yeah.
Okay. What are you most afraid of?
What am I most afraid of? Ooh. Huh. What am I most afraid of? I'm gonna have to say failure. Just because that's literally the polar opposite of what I said earlier, like setting a goal, you know? So like, for me, setting a goal and then not achieving the goal, that definitely like frightens me because it's like, as a human being, I'm perfectly capable of doing pretty much anything I do set my mind to, and I should be able to do that by any means necessary. So I hate failure. It's like the one thing that I cannot stand more than anything. So definitely, like, most people are like, oh, you should be scared of death and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I mean, we're all gonna die. Like, it is what it is. That's just a simple fact of human nature and just like science and biology. So why should I be afraid of death? Like, it is what it is. It's coming for all of us. I should be afraid of things that will impact what I do when I'm here, you know? Right. So failure is definitely like one of the things that I fear the most because it's like, that shit is scary.
What is the most challenging thing you've gone through?
What is the most challenging thing I've gone through? All right, let's dig into memory banks here. Whew. Dig into memory banks. The most challenging thing I've gone through. For me, and she's probably gonna kill me if she ever sees this, but it is what it is. I have to speak my truth. For me, the most challenging thing I've ever gone through is definitely like my last relationship. It was really difficult just because, like...
How long was this relationship?
It was my longest, actually, so that's cool. That's a little mini achievement. It was a year and I want to say like 3 months.
Okay.
A lot of people are like, oh, that's sad, a year and 3 months. Like, I mean, look, I don't... it is.
Everyone has their own. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
For me, it was definitely like challenging just because like, I had to do a lot of introspection on myself because I was with somebody who required a lot, and in her requiring a lot, it took a lot out of me, and that was really difficult because I wasn't used to. Like I said, typically, I go, like I said, I go above and beyond, etc. But like, I do that within reason. And with her, like literally, I got to a lot of points where I was like overexerting myself, which I didn't even think was possible.
In what way?
As far as like emotional support, and the thing is, for me, I get this from my mom because she's like super no nonsense, but like I have a low threshold and tolerance for just like, I'm trying to find a way to say it that's not like rude.
Say it.
But like, I have like low sympathy. I guess that's what I call it. And the reason why my sympathy is low is because like, I feel like as adults, there are certain things that we can control. We have 100% ability to control them. And if you choose not to control them, then that's on you. And for me, your happiness is something that you can always control, no matter what. And I feel like that's something that you should never let anybody take away from you. So if you're letting somebody take away your happiness, then that says a lot about how important it is to you. And yeah, so like, the reason I was difficult is just because like I'm not used to dealing with people that have mental health issues. Like, it is what it is. We all have our own, things in life. Like, it is what it is. And being with somebody that has mental health issues will definitely, like, it requires a very unique person, And I thought I was that person, but I guess I'm not. And like, everybody has their own, mental health things. Like, it is what it is, So it's like, you just have to know what you can tolerate and what you can't. So that was difficult for me just because like she put me through a lot.
What don't you want to tell people but know you should share because it can help someone else?
It can help someone else. Woo. Run that by me one more time.
What don't you want to tell people but know you should share because it would help someone else?
What don't I want to tell people?
Like, what's something you came in here and you might be an open book, but something you would be like, I'm not talking about that. But if someone else talked about it, you'd be like, okay, yeah, like totally, I relate. Cool.
Something that I don't want to talk about. That's interesting. There's a lot of things I don't want to talk about.
Because you're a Scorpio.
That's definitely it. That could help somebody else. That's what's throwing me off because, like, as far as helping somebody else, I don't really know how it would help somebody else.
If they feel like you do, or in that same kind of like.
I guess for me, my whole thing is, like I said it earlier, but like I said it like in an undertone. I don't divulge information openly. I divulge information on a need-to-know basis, and that's not something a lot of people know about me because of the fact that they think that I'm an open book. There's a lot that I internalize. So for me, internalization is it is my default it's my default coping mechanism. So like, if like shit's going sideways or like things are going on, I'm like, hey, look, I can process X, Y, and Z right now, and the rest I'm gonna put in this little box and I'm gonna store it away and never ever talk about it. So yeah, internalization is something that I do a lot.
Okay.
And I don't know why I divulge information on a need-to-know basis. I don't know why I do that. I've literally always been that way for as long as I can remember. But I think it's more so because, like, for me, I feel like when I say stuff or when I do things, people will use that to weaponize it against me. And that's a defense mechanism for me. I should not be afraid. That's an irrational fear, I would like to think. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't divulge information at all. Like, it could be like some life or death type shit, and I just won't say anything. Like, and that's really bad. It is what it is. And yeah, that says a lot, because information is meant to be shared. Like, it is what it is.
What do you think would happen if you started facing the things that you internalize and don't want to look at?
What do I think would happen?
Yeah, like, how do you think that would affect your day-to-day personality, your feelings, and just how you handle life?
For me, I think I would definitely be a lot more sad.
Okay.
Because, like, this is something that was told to me too. Like, when situations make me uncomfortable, I run away from them. And the reason why I run away from them is because, like, why would I openly subject myself to feeling uncomfortable? Like, if I had a choice to feel uncomfortable or feel okay, I would lean more towards feeling okay.
Because that's where growth happens.
Of course, the comfort zone, leaving your comfort zone, exactly. And I've done that a lot this year, and I'm really proud of myself for that. But I would definitely be a lot more sad, because I would openly face the things that bring me down versus locking them away. And that would definitely affect my personality, because that would be a Debbie Downer. And anybody that knows me and knows me well knows that I'm kind of the life of the party, because it's like, I just bring a certain energy with me wherever I go, and it just, like, it vibrates. Like, even my laugh alone, like, anybody that knows me, they'll tell you my laugh is like, it is a laugh. Like, it's a 10 out of 10 laugh. Like, I laugh with every fiber of my being. So, yeah, I would definitely be a lot more sad, because things that bring me down, I'd have to face them versus, locking them away.
Yeah.
I definitely I would like to think, a lot less friends. I don't have too many friends. Well, let me rephrase. I use the term friends loosely, because friends versus associates versus whatever other terms you want to use. But I would have a lot less people that affiliate with me, I guess, because there has been some very, like, I've had dark thoughts. Who doesn't have dark thoughts, Like, for me, like, one of my darkest thoughts is, like, and I forgot, because I actually Googled this. There's a term for, like, people like me, but I can't remember what the term is. But, like, for me, one of my darkest thoughts is, like, I don't feel like I deserve to be loved, or I don't deserve good things, I guess.
Which is extremely common.
Word? Oh, that's dope. I did not know that.
It's not weird to think like that.
Cool. Glad to know that I'm not alone. But yeah, I feel like I don't deserve good things, Like, I just feel like bad shit is supposed to happen to me all the time. And I don't know where that comes from. And I would definitely like to understand it. But yeah, and it's like, for me, that's why, like, everything good that happens to me, I cherish it that much more, because it's like I worked that much harder for it, or like if it happened, it was meant to be, like, especially thinking the way that I do, where it's like, I don't deserve nice things, like, yeah. If people, like, knew that I thought like this, they'd be like, the fuck is wrong with that guy, So I don't know.
Or they'd probably say me too.
That's dope. That I honestly did not know, So
I want to ask you a question, and you don't have to answer it. I just want you to think about it.
What's the question?
So, if you looked at the things you internalized, instead of looking at them like, if I face the things that bring me down, I would be sad. If you looked at them like, if I face them, and then I conquer them, and then they don't bother me anymore, and then nothing can bring me down, because I face these things. Like, just think about how that would affect you, and how, I don't know, maybe you could move forward with some things, because I feel, just from personal experience, a lot of things that we're scared to look at, once we look at them, it wasn't that bad. We become better people. We're definitely not alone in it, and then that thing doesn't bother you anymore. So it's kind of like, oh, this box is just like, the stuff in it just kind of, so you look in the box and there's like nothing in the box. So yeah, just think about that.
If I face the things that I internalize, definitely, like, if I looked at them in that, like, regard, honestly, yeah, I would definitely.
It's not easy. I'm not saying, like, oh, like, buck up, but at the same time, like,
Yeah, definitely, like.
It gets painful after a while to keep everything.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. Friends
with a lot of water signs. So. So I get to like.
That reminds
I'm no
me.
stranger
That
to all
reminds
of
me
this.
of this GIF of what's his name, Frodo from from the Lord of the Rings, and he's like, "Fine, keep your secrets." Like that GIF is like my entire life because it's like, yo, I just don't be telling people shit.
Yeah.
But if I face the things that like I internalize, definitely like I would definitely come out on top a better person, just because a lot of things that I internalize, it's stuff that should be confronted. And like I said, 90% of it comes from things that make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they make me uncomfortable because it's like, yo, like I don't like that thing. Like just stop doing that thing. And definitely like facing them is important. And at one point in my life, it's definitely going to be a goal. There, but I feel like I said a lot at the same time.
No, you said a lot. You're doing great. What do you think about how you kind of already went over this, like, so how you communicate? Like, what do you wish people understood about you?
What do I wish people understood about me? Whoo! All right, so I'm an ambivert, right? But I lean more towards introvert. And one thing that I wish people would understand and get is that just because I have the ability to be extremely social and things like that, I don't necessarily have to. I get drained very easily because people don't understand how introverts truly work. They're like, oh yeah, introverts, you guys just like being alone and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case. The thing is, if you understand how social batteries work and how our energy works, introverts draw their energy from within, from themselves. They don't draw energy from other people.
Right.
Extroverts draw energy from other people, so they absolutely have to be around other people. They hate not being around other people because that's what they're used to.
Yeah.
So I wish people would understand that, like, if I don't want to come out, I don't want to come out. Leave me alone. Leave it at that. Don't be like, oh, he don't want to have no friend. He asocial, blah, blah. It's nothing like that. It's just like, it's like I need to recharge. Like, it is what it is.
Okay.
Nowadays too, like the thing is we have so much access to people because social media and things like that. We have so much access, so it's like people feel like they can just have you drop everything you're doing for what they're doing, and it's like, come along on this
selfish
trip. Yeah, so it's like that's not the case at all. That's not the case. We shouldn't be like that
at all.
Yeah, so that's what that's all about. That is what that's all about.
Okay.
Being an ambivert is mad interesting, yo, because like it's like a switch. Like one day I'm on it, and the next day it's like leave me alone. So yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. What are you self-conscious about?
What am I self-conscious about? Ooh, that's a good one. What am I self-conscious about? I'm self-conscious about my height. I know that sounds stupid, but I am, because
how tall are you?
I'm 6'1". But I was supposed to be 6'2". Okay, somebody lied to me, and I don't like it. Also, genetics are weird, so because my brother is 6'3", and then all my cousins and stuff are like 6'4". So I'm the shortest of all of the people in my, well, not all the people in my family, but all the mans. I'm one of the shortest, and that's one thing. That's not like the major thing. Major thing that I'm self-conscious about. I guess like for me, and it's weird because like it's 50-50, because for me, I honestly do not care what people think about me. I always do things my way, period, because if you live life by other people's standards, you're not gonna, have a good time. So that's the first half of that statement. The second half of that statement is that, of course, just because of human nature, I do care what people think. I've been told in the past that I'm like a people pleaser. So like I do stuff to make other people happy versus making myself happy. I'm really like self-conscious about that because it's like my happiness should definitely come first. Like, and like it's weird because like people will guilt trip you into thinking that's like a selfish like thought process. It's like your happiness is not important because other people need to be happy too. And it's like, why do I have to make a compromise? Like why?
Yeah.
Porque eres no dos, both. All right, I said that all wrong. A taco commercial, anyway. Yeah, like you should be able to prioritize different levels of happiness. Like that's important. And I'm self-conscious about that because it's like I shouldn't have to please other people and feel bad about it. Like I should be able to please myself and be perfectly okay with that. So yeah, there's that.
Okay.
That's really it. My self-esteem is through the roof. It be booming. So yeah, you know.
Okay.
It took a while to get there, you know, but I'm glad we there.
Are you happy?
For the most part, yeah. Yeah, I would like to think that I'm happy.
Okay. What's missing?
What is missing? Whew. Let's see. What is missing? As far as this year, a couple things were missing, but I'm really happy that I was able to like percolate and make that work. For me, like one of the things that was like that made me sad before was like I didn't have wheels, you know, so I couldn't get to places. I couldn't do fun stuff. I couldn't do things that I wanted to do because I didn't have wheels. And of course, there's like Uber and stuff, but like Uber's expensive, you know. So like that was like one of my goals for last year was get a Whippo, and I did that.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of myself as well.
That's awesome.
And I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what the question was again.
What's missing?
What's missing? There we go. As far as what is missing now, just because like I accomplished like that, honestly speaking, the only thing that's missing now is, of course, like I mentioned earlier, like relationships is at the bottom of my totem pole right now just because it's like it's not at the forefront of my thought process. But remember how I mentioned how love was really important? So that's definitely like what's missing, like, and romantic love, not obviously like love for friends and things like that, but like, you know, I'm missing my cinnamon apple, man. I gotta find my cinnamon apple, yo.
Your cinnamon apple.
Yeah, are you familiar with that Vine reference? Oh Lord, you're not familiar with that Vine reference? It's this Vine. It's this dude. He's like really distraught over this girl, and he was like, "Nah, man, she was supposed to be my cinnamon apple." So that's where that's from.
I feel like I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's
Vine used to be my pride and joy.
See, but now there's TikTok, which is basically Vine on crack. I don't get it.
I don't have TikTok.
Me neither, but a lot of people send TikToks to me. I'm just like,
no,
okay.
I miss Vine.
Yeah, Vine is
Vine
the
was.
goat.
I still sometimes watch Vine compilations on YouTube
Vine
to
is
just
the goat.
reminisce how
Vine
good it
is the
was
goat.
because it was so good.
But yeah, love is missing, and yeah, it's missing, and I don't know what to do, but hopefully I'll figure it out. And yeah, that's kind of that, you know.
Okay. Last question. So, all the power goes out. Computers, TVs, phones, tablets, screens stay on. It's like PSA, public service announcement, and then it's your face.
Ooh.
So the whole world can see you.
Yeah.
You have like 2 minutes.
I
What
got
are you
the
gonna
juice.
say? What are you gonna do?
What am I gonna say and what am I gonna do? Ooh, PSA.
What do you have to say to the world in that moment?
What do I have to say to the world? I guess if I had to say something, I would say, look, man, we as a people, and it's gonna sound mad cliche, but it is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, we're people, you know? We establish the things that make us different. But if we're looking at it from the most basic of basics, we're people, we're humans. Like, we're the apex species or whatever you want to call it. Like, if we focus on that, then our differences don't matter. Like, that's as simple as it can be. Like, we need to not worry about the things that make us different or the things that divide us, because those are all things that we create, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, like, countries and borders and things like that didn't exist back in the day. Like, it was just people, you know what I'm saying? Hunter-gatherers, like, you know what I'm saying? Tribes, you know? So it's like, we try our best to alienate ourselves from each other. Like, it's really interesting because, like, I took this class, I forgot the class, but, like, one of the units focused on, like, xenophobia, like, the fear of the other. Like, there is no other. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it is. There's no other. We are literally all the same at the end of the day. So it's like, we need to band together, like, simple as that. We need not focus on what we think makes us different. And if we all put our minds together, like, we can legit do some like powerful things. Like we can easily make the world what we want it to be if we stop focusing on like dumb stuff, you know? Focus on the things that are important, focus on the things that matter. Like that's as simple as it can be.
That's true.
Yeah. And I guess the issue comes into play because we all don't value the same things, but like I said, look at things from the most basic standpoint. Like, how can we make it so that way we can live a long, healthy life, you know? Because we out here polluting the earth, you know what I'm saying? Earth's not gonna be here for a long time. So we gotta do what we gotta do on that front.
The earth's gonna be here. It's just not gonna be inhabitable for us. Because the earth has been here.
We out here making new species. That's crazy.
I guess, but the earth is gonna be here.
Oh yeah, facts.
It may be desolate, but
we are the cancer.
We are the ones that will leave. We are the ones that will.
This is true. We are the cancer.
Die out.
But that's my PSA. We need to band together. Like, keep it simple. Like, yo, like, stop doing stupid stuff, and we're gonna be all right. That's pretty much it. You know?
Cool. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Show everybody what you drew.
It's mad different.
So what is that? Explain.
What is it? So that's the Loch Ness Monster. She my homie. I love the Loch Ness Monster. That's irrelevant though. As far as like the other stuff, so the crown matches my tattoo. I'm a huge fan of Basquiat. He's my guy. I definitely loved his work and what he stood for. I wish he was still here. So that's what that's all about. The halo, that pretty much is representation of like your higher self, and that's pretty much like where you achieve the highest level of self-awareness. Like, that's what we're all trying to be in life. You know, we all want to learn more about ourselves, and that's where we should strive to be. The blue sun. That's interesting because the sun essentially is, you know, our source of energy. It's where we get our vitamin D from and all that other good stuff. As far as blue, if you're familiar with like how the color wheel works and like what each color represents, so blue is technically the color of like sadness and despair. So I took something that typically is bright and sunny and like hopeful and flipped it on its head, and just like that makes you think like, yo, like what if it's not necessarily what the sun was actually blue, but like something that's supposed to like bring you happiness and supposed to bring you joy, like what if it didn't do that, you know? Like that would be interesting. And then the stars kind of counteract that, because it's like, as you can see, they're kind of forming a perimeter around the sun. They're keeping the sun in place, you know? So it's like, and the stars are orange, so they're happy, you know? So it's kind of like a duality. It's like a battle, essentially. The stars are battling the sun. So that's what that's all about. The tree, which also looks like an eggplant. I don't know why I made the tree purple. Maybe I do. Purple's my favorite color, like I said. And as far as why the tree is purple, one, is my favorite color. Two, I really like trees. I have no idea why. I love trees.
Give us oxygen.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, they give us oxygen.
Pretty important.
So there's that. And also there's this, I forget the name, there's this company right now where pretty much like every time you buy one of their products, they plant a tree. I can't remember the name of the company, but I feel like that's something we should all do. We should all plant trees. Because that's like the smallest thing we can do to reverse this whole 8-year thing that's going on as far as the planet. So we need more trees. Trees are the future. It's very important. A lot of people need to know that. And then, of course, the water. I mentioned that water is very important. Makes up 80% of our body and comprises, what, like 75% of our land mass? Like, the fact that the oceans are in distress right now, and the fact that the friggin' polar ice caps are just, like, dissolving is terrifying, because it's like, yo, I'm thinking about the future, man. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna be here, but, like, yo, what is gonna be here if we keep on messing up? Like, we can't keep on messing up, yo. Like, we gotta do better. So yeah, that's my drawing.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Can you sign it for me?
Oh yeah, facts. Boom. Yeah, which makes it really confusing when I'm signing legal documents. Cause like, sir, is this you? And I'm
like, who knows?
It might be.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe you signed it. Who knows?
Yo, this is Idris in the flesh.